G-Man Boxing. Do you know what I mean? Every single live he donates. I see him on other lives donating. He's got the bag on it.
I said I'd bring that intro back for one day only. That's a once off, one day only. Before we talk about the subject in this video, have a look there on screen. That was from a channel called iBoxing Hub, all one word. I'm going to leave a link to their channel in the comment section. We're going to pin it, all right? Was on there, well, the time this goes out, it will be Thursday morning, but I was on there this evening, the time of recording, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a half-hour long video. It should be their most recent video on the channel if you want to go and have a watch. We talk about the Joshua Ngannou card. We also talk about fights that can be made in 2024 that haven't been made. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. And a great channel, a great bunch of people working on there. Absolutely tremendous. They've just gone over 500 subscribers. So hopefully they're nearly there. They're nearly at the 1K mark. Let's get them. It's not going to get... My channel is doing well, but I don't think it's going to quite get to the 1K yet. But let's at least get them this much closer if we can. Leaving a link in the comment section. I'm going to pin that, and yeah, go over there, give it a look. Hopefully you'll definitely enjoy it. So go over there, give it a look. iBoxing Hub, all one word. Link will be pinned in the comment section. Now let's get into the main topic of the video. Alright, John Fury gave an interview with Seconds Out. He seems to like giving interviews with Seconds Out these days, and I'll read the headline here. It says, Deontay Wilder and Otto Wallin weren't the same after fighting Tyson Fury. Never seen anything so bad. Really, John, have you not? Okay. Now, this is what he told Seconds Out. I'll quote him here. Otto Wallin was something scared of Anthony Joshua. Fair play to AJ. He looked like a man on a mission. Wallin never turned up, just like Deontay Wilder never turned up versus Joseph Parker. I've never seen anything as bad as Wilder in my life. I was looking at two different people in Wallin and Wilder. Those were not the people who fought Tyson. Sorry. He would say this though. Tyson probably took everything out of them. Oh, I mean, that Otto Wallin fight for Otto Wallin was so grueling. Horrendous. I mean, I'm wondering how he's ever going to be the same after that. Now, what I will say with this here, right? I do think he has some points, right? Only with regards to Deontay Wilder. Only with regards to him, not Otto Wallin. With Deontay Wilder, first fight with Tyson Fury, barely any shots were landed apart from the two knockdowns. I felt Fury did enough to win, but it wasn't Gary Warren in there. If you want to use a heavyweight comparison, it wasn't Klitschko versus Lewis. It wasn't those type of fights. Bo Holyfield, especially the third fight, that was a brilliant fight. But it wasn't that type of fight, right? It was not a great fight. It had drama, but it wasn't great. So that fight wouldn't have took anything out of either guy. All right. The second fight definitely took something out of Deontay Wilder. He took a beating in that fight. Fury took no punishment. And then in that third fight, which was the best out of the three, and I don't think anyone's going to argue, but that was the best out of the three, Wilder had success. He dropped Fury twice, but in the end, he ended up taking a beat and he was dropped a couple of times and he was knocked out clean in this fight. It wasn't like he had his corner in the ring apron stopping the fight. He was knocked out clean in the 11th round in that third Fury fight. And I agree with John Fury. I think that did essentially what happened to Wilder in both those fights, the second fight and the third fight. It was akin to being in a car crash. Broken hands, concussed, God knows what else. He suffered big time in those two fights. And I'd say he's never been quite the same. And he didn't look the same in there. He looked a shell of himself. He really did. So when he says that Fury took something out of Deontay Wilder, I completely agree. But I disagree wholeheartedly when he says that he took something out of Otto Wallin. What? That wasn't a punishing fight. Not in the slightest. It wasn't amazing. Otto Wallin left that fight feeling like he'd won, feeling like he'd just done something amazing. And Otto Wallin was still living on that fight 4 years later, right? And Otto Wallin, he fought guys like Brazil, Brazil's, whenever time he stepped up, he's been stopped. Even in some of his wins, he's been down on the canvas. Wallin couldn't put a dent in him. He got a win over Morakasiev. What was a pretty crap fight, let's be frank. Morakasiev does tend to struggle with movers. But he won that fight. That's probably his best win. But he never looked over the hill or anything like that. It wasn't like he went into that Fury fight, took a Hail Mary beating, and just happened to last at this. He didn't do that. It was a fairly nip and tuck affair. You know, Wallin, Fury was the rightful winner, but he never put a beat down on Wallin. You wouldn't look at that fight and think, you survived, but you're never going to be the same again. No, that was not. He did not take anything from Wallin. Wallin went in there against Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua he wasn't just the better man, he was the significantly better man. He beat up Wallin. Didn't lay a glove on Joshua. It wasn't competitive. It was a great performance by Joshua. Wallin looked terrible, right? Great performance. Take nothing away from Joshua, but Wallin not even remote. It really put into context where he is at. He had that great moment. What would you even say? Great moment. He had that good performance against Tyson Fury, and that's it. Went in there against Anthony Joshua, beaten up, right? No problem for Joshua. If Joshua, he is fighting, but if he goes in there against Francis Ngannou, and let's say he stops Ngannou in 5 rounds, wait till you see the next interview. Never the same after facing my son. He ruined Francis Ngannou. Oh, in that fight where Fury was on the ground and just kind of managed his way to a victory, he ruined Francis Ngannou too. That's what he's going to say. He ruined Francis. Ruined him. That's what I'm sure John Fury will say. Listen, sometimes Fury says things that you do. John Fury says things, and you do look and say, makes a bit of sense. Other times he's of course he would be, it's his son, but he will be extremely biased in favour of Tyson, as you would expect. And in this situation, he's onto something where he says that Wilder's never been the same. I agree. But to say Wallin has never been the same, get out of here. Get out of here. Wallin had no excuse for not looking good in there. He really didn't. It wasn't like Eddie Hearn took Wallin and plucked him out of obscurity or Joshua for that matter, where he was out of the ring for the last 18 months and this only was announced and he had to get himself up off the couch, get into training and came in looking bad and Joshua won. No, Wallin fought the end of September. 3 months, plenty of time. Went 12 rounds in September and he fought Joshua in December. And I would imagine he only had, a week or 2 off straight back into camp. I mean, Andy Ruiz did that and he beat Joshua. Wallin did it. And what happened? He got the crap beat out of him for 5 rounds. As Joshua would say, he broke his face. Can't compare the two. Wallin had his moments against Fury. Fury won. But it wasn't a punishing fight. It's more punishing for Fury. He got a massive cut. In some other states, with a different fighter, they would have stopped that fight. So that's what I got to say on John Fury's latest... What would you even call it these days? With John Fury's latest interview, let's just call it that. Because they're always worth watching just to see what he says next. With John Fury, he is entertaining. That's one thing. When you listen to him speak, you're just like, even though there's so many holes in some of the things he says, it's like Swiss cheese. A lot of claims he makes, and he never backs them up. But sometimes he does say things that make sense. Sometimes he makes. There's a little bit of sense in there, like what he says about Wilder, but then the rest is just like, throw that away. As I got to say on that, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you disagree with me? Do you think that Fury took something out of Deontay Wilder and that he also took something out of Wallin? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. Well, he certainly didn't take something out of Klitschko. Klitschko looked good that night against Joshua. He was winning the fight. So, there you go. Let me know your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you could. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Peace.